Suave.
I've been in my bag for a while, I'm invincible. Story of a young boss, grinding shit get critical. Calling on my bros one time, cause you special. I had some hoop dreams to write rounds for my mentor. Every target that I shoot is on point like a pencil. Different route, change relationships, I'm so sorry. Came up from the trenches and I made it, I say hardly. Now
Bet Online is your number one source for all of your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Alrighty, guys, we are back with another episode of the What's in Your Bag podcast presented by Bet Online. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Robinson. And we joined by my guy, Tank Wood, man. Yo, Tank, it's been a minute since you've been on the show, my boy. What's up with you?
Yo, we've been running everywhere, but I mean, for the family, for the gang, we make it back. Glad to be back, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, before we introduce our guest for today, we got to handle some business. This is a episode that we're super, super excited about. We're going to talk some fashion, some fits and stuff like that. But got to handle the business first. Guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and stop what you're doing. Tap that subscribe button down below. We're on the road to 10K. You guys have been supporting us along the road. So go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe button. It goes a long way. Drop a comment down below, all the above. If you listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. Tell a friend about the What's in Your Bag podcast. It does go a long way. That was my guy, Pull Up Tay, on the intro. It's going to be him on the outro. He just dropped a new project, man. One of the hottest artists out of the DMV. So make sure you guys are streaming his music.
Hey, if you don't like the podcast, tell us how bad it is. We want everything. Give us
give us some feedback too.
Feedback.
Oh man. But without further ado, now that we got the business out the way, we are pleased to introduce our guest this week. This person is somebody who does amazing work in the fashion industry, works with a ton of athletes. And as if I do say so myself, there's some people in her grand, man. She got some style and some swag herself, man. So we are pleased to be joined by Jojo Fetterman, also known as StylinbyJojo. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. It's my first podcast, so very excited to get into it.
Yes. We're happy to get you on your first podcast, man. I'm honored to be able to say that this is your first one, because I know this won't be the last. You know what I'm saying? So
hoping.
No, for sure. Once you pop in doing Vogue and this and that, you're gonna be able to say we had her on first. You know what I'm saying? So
yep, there you go. Exactly, right? Yep.
So I want to just talk to you about, how you first got into fashion. Like as a kid, I feel like I remember, when I was a young whippersnapper, I'm going to school. I remember I'm standing in front of the mirror with my little first day of school fit, looking at my clothes. I'm about to get fresh for school. You know what I'm saying? Like, as somebody who does styling, you do a bunch of like personal shopping for athletes. Do you feel like you were always into fashion, like when you were a kid? Like, talk about kind of just
definitely for sure. I mean, I always looked up to my mom when she was in. She always dressed amazing. She still dresses amazing. And my older brother also loves fashion as well. So I always, as time got older, I'd say was more into fashion, maybe more like college. And then definitely moving to New York City was like when it hit me. How I got started was I got a job at Bergdorf Goodman, which is one of the biggest department stores in New York, very famous. Everybody loves to come here. It's like I worked in women's, but I also would go to the men's store. I was a personal shopping assistant. So I worked under a shopper for at least almost 3 years, worked all throughout COVID, which was crazy. I was in store. I was only home for COVID for about 2 months, and then the store made us come back. We did in-store appointments every day. So that really caught my eye into the fashion industry, I'd say. I learned so much about brands. And I'd say I worked in women, but I would really go over to the men's store a lot. And I would meet people over there. I would shadow the sales guys and stay late hours and learn all about the brands and everything. So that's really, like, I'd say moving to New York, it was really what got me into the fashion. But but yeah, I mean, I love it. It's definitely, I learn something new every day. I'm still learning about brands. I follow so many cool, amazing brands on Instagram, which a lot of brands also send me a lot of stuff, which is amazing. I always try to support every small business. So if you're a small business listening, please reach out to me. I love even if it's like a hat or a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, my guys will appreciate it. You know, like some they just wear to their practices and stuff. And sometimes hopefully we'll get a photo. But yeah, that said, that's really like how I really got into it, was me basically getting this job at this store. And then ever since then, I kind of, we'll get into it, but I really, ever since I left last year, I kind of just started my own thing. So, but yeah, that's really how I'd say I got into fashion right now.
You brought up Bergdorf Goodman. I want to talk about it because like Bergdorf Goodman, like
Yeah.
if you know, like it's not like your typical department store. But before we get too far into that, can you just sort of explain like how you made the jump? Because I know you kind of like had your start on social media, like you had the whole like freshman 15. Exactly, like how was that jump? I guess going from like, I also know you didn't like major in that like in college. Like your major in college pretty much like had nothing to do with fashion. Like what exactly was that kind of like jump?
Yeah, for sure. So in college, I studied sociology. I did not know what I wanted to do when I moved to New York. Basically, I moved to New York 5 years ago in 2018, right when I graduated at University of Arizona, came straight to New York, had no idea what I want to do. I didn't know if I was going to even live here. I did a sublet, not even knowing. I ended up loving New York, stayed. First, when I moved here, I did a bunch of 9-to-5 jobs. I did PR stuff, but getting really into I really just honestly found a niche. And I started to become obsessed with like the trends and what people are wearing. And then especially when you say Bergdorf. So people don't really know, Bergdorf is one of the biggest department stores. It has the most luxurious brands. There's an amazing, I'd say like restaurant upstairs that people also come in for like tea. I'd say like you would see like Kardashians there. Like I've seen so many different famous celebrities, Beyonce, I help Beyonce, Victoria, so many people like come in. And I've obviously try not to be a fangirl, but almost got in big trouble one time trying to take a video of Beyonce.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But you would just see so many people walk in there and everybody, I mean, it was amazing just to learn all the brands, I'd say. But you say getting into how I left. So basically what happened was it was 3 years. I worked under a shopper. It was time for me to go and do my own thing. If there was a job opening for the men's, I probably would have transferred over to the men's store and worked there full time. But they told me that I needed to build a client book. So that's what I did. I left and I started building my own client book. I got in touch with a bunch of different athletes. I met someone in New York that I got in touch with that let me style them. And I built this Instagram page a little early into COVID just for fun. I have my own personal account that I use and I really just built this for fun. And I started posting pictures of me. I started posting pictures of my brother and styling him for fun. And I would always write like vacation looks, like come like reach out to me if you need anything. And like his friends would sometimes reach out to me, but I do all this for free. You know, it's just to like get my foot in the door and just to learn. So right now I'd say right now I'm doing my freelance and I also work at Bloomingdale's on 50th Street. So I do personal shopping there. I work with everybody. I don't exactly work on the floor, but I work in the digital space and I also bring clients in. Sorry if it's very loud. It's in here.
No, that's okay. So you mentioned just now kind of how you first started the styling Instagram page during COVID, how you were kind of like, you know what, kind of switching lanes and trying to build your clientele. So do you remember who your first like, you know, celebrity client was, or who your first client that was like, oh snap, like, yeah, you're gonna let me style you? Like, how did you first get into that? Like, who was your first client that kind of styled and that kind of got your foot in the door?
Well, my first ever client was someone on the Bills. His name's Greg Russo. He's an amazing guy. He actually went to University of Miami. So, which my family's very, very involved in the University of Miami program. And he was kind of nervous to work with me because he didn't know, he said he's been scammed before and he didn't know how the industry really worked. but it was funny because he knew a lot of the same people that I knew. So he kind of got really comfortable. Like I started naming names, and he like knew like the people on the football program that my family knew. So he was like my first ever client. And I'd say from there, he referred me to like 3 or 4 Bills players that I also worked with on the team last season. And he's honestly been referring me again. And now I have like 6 people I'm going to be working with for this season, which will be really excited. Hopefully to go out to Buffalo and bring a bunch of clothes out there and do like a fitting with a bunch of different guys, which would be really cool. But I'd say most famous, really, I'd say, well, Immanuel Quickley. We became pretty friendly a few years ago when he first joined on the NBA at the Knicks. And so I helped style him a few times. He's amazing. He's an amazing player, very nice guy. I also was able to, I work with a bunch of different people. A lot of people reach out to me asking for like, they'll be like, hey, like I have a pair of jeans, like do you have a shirt that would match, or like a pair of shoes that you think would go with my outfit? So I do a lot of like different personal shopping too. I'd say obviously right now I work with about 12 to 15 people, but hoping to obviously to build my brand throughout this year. Hopefully next season for NBA, NFL season will obviously pick up a lot for me. So I'm really excited. I definitely have some new clients coming that I've been in touch with through all different teams. So excited for that.
100%. A quick follow-up before I toss it to Tank real quick. So I feel like the hardest part of when it comes to, at least from the outside looking in, right? When it comes to like, I play overseas right now in Japan, right? And I feel like people in Tokyo, they step like a lot of people who be putting on fits and stuff like that. But I feel like when it comes to styling, it's such a polarizing thing, because we've had athletes on the podcast and it's literally like 50-50. I'm like, yo, like how you feel about stylists? And for example, like Terrence Mann plays for the Clippers. He's a stylist. He's like, yeah, man, I feel like it's cool because like it's a business, right? I feel like they're sending me brands. I'm like making money and this and that. But then we have had other athletes like, yeah, man, I'm not really down with the stylist business. Like I want to make my own fits and kind of like whatever, right? So I feel like when it comes to Greg Russo and like that first client, how did that conversation go? Like when it was like, all right, like let me style you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you have to?
Oh my God. Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, he did not really know anything about fashion. So he was like very appreciative. Some people I work with do know a lot about brands. They mostly kind of just want me to help them find things, to be honest, and put them on smaller brands. Again, what I was saying, with a lot of people like to shout out brands and see the new things that some people don't want to always have the same, like Rude and Gallery, you know, and like the Amiri and the basic brands. So, what some of my favorite brands I really are right now that I put some people on is MMY. I love Bodhi. It just really depends on who the person is, I'd say, on what they wear. You know, some people are just still very into like the straight leg jeans, you know, like I try to really help people like branch out. It's like kind of my job is to help people feel comfortable. Even with Greg, like he would never wear a pair of flare jeans, and I put him on like flare jeans and some button downs and cool jackets. And Marnie, he had no idea what any of these brands really were. It really depends on who you are, you know. I'd say more NBA people may have more of an idea because then maybe their teammates are always rocking all that nice brands. But yeah, it's like a business, but it's also like they become like family friends to you as well, because they're always hitting you up. You know, it's like, I feel like sometimes I'm their like assistant, you know, always making sure the package gets there on time. A lot of things I do is virtual since I'm in New York. If I do have a player on the Jets or Giants, I sometimes do an in-person fitting and have an assistant come with me and help me in New York. So that's always a plus too, because there's so many girls here that want to do the same thing as you. Yeah. And always having an assistant and a girl to come is plus. But yeah, I mean, it's really different for everybody, I'd say. I also, since I said I work at Bloomingdale's, I have access to Louis Vuitton. So a lot of people ask me for Louis Vuitton stuff. Obviously, the number one request I get are skater shoes. Everybody wants those skater shoes. I sold a few of them, and then obviously everyone loves Louis Vuitton jeans, so I sell a lot of them as well. And then also the duffel bags. I sell so many duffel bags of Louis Vuitton. So if you guys need, let me know. So many. The new Kid Super collab just came out and it is freaking amazing. I get all the lookbooks, so whoever needs, please hit me up. So
I wanted to sort of like ask you another question, but you really brought up a great point, and you kind of brought up right then about Louis Vuitton, and now I kind of just really want to know, like, what is your opinion now on like Pharrell's new line that just came out with Louis Vuitton, with him now being the new creative director? Like, have you taken a look at it? What's your thoughts? And is there any way like you might can see yourself grabbing a couple of those pieces and sending them out to some of your athletes?
Oh my God, yes. I actually watched the fashion show. It was so amazing. I think he is so creative. I'm definitely really excited for those lookbooks to come out so I can send them to my guys. I really mostly I'll usually get the lookbooks and I'll usually send them the PDF over to a client and they'll screenshot what they want, or I'll kind of take pictures of my favorite stuff and send them over. I post a lot on Instagram as well, and sometimes get replies. It's just the prices are like crazy. These prices are so up. Oh my God, they're insane. But the brand is, I mean, I love Louis. It's one of my favorites. I'd say it's one of the most, like I said, most popular brand people ask for these days, since I do have access to it. But yeah, I'm honestly really excited for more of Pharrell's designs to come out, and he's amazing. And yeah.
So kind of, can you give me just kind of a scoop of like what that looks like? Like, do you get brand exclusives that like not everybody might not like have a chance to get? Like, do you get early access to them? Is there like a price difference?
Yeah,
like
I do. So I get early access to do pre-orders. I'd say I don't get like any discount or anything. Obviously, I wish. But I just get early access to pre-order. So if anybody was interested in a piece, I can pre-order it, put your card down, and then once it comes in, I ship out overnight. That's really what it's all for. That's like the access of kind of working for Louis Vuitton. But once again, if you do work with like a Louis Vuitton specialist at a store anywhere, you kind of get like the same, if you know, type.
So you mentioned briefly kind of working with Immanuel Quickley, and you talked about kind of how you kind of got into it and stuff like that, but I want to dive into a little more. The first thing I want to ask you about when it comes to Immanuel Quickley is the fit you styled for him for the Michael Rubin all white party last.
Yes,
because
now I'm like remembering, I think he was actually like the first athlete I styled for a party. I was thinking of like a rivals, but he actually was the first. Yes, he reached out to me to help him in like a 2-3 day notice. And I was just starting at Bloomingdale. Then I had him come in and it was like quick in and out, like I pulled like 3 all white looks. We did it's outside the party. So we did like white linen pants and white linen shirt, and he added some jewelry and shoes and found some glasses. And yeah, that was honestly, I just remembering, I was like waiting for the photos to come out. I was so excited. But yeah, that was like one of the first times I met him as well in person. And then I helped him a few times. I know he works with some other people here and there. And that's something that is also important. Not important, but like you have to realize in the styling industry is that these athletes don't just use one stylist. I know it's just like kind of working at, like you said, you're going to a nail place and you're going, like you use different people. A lot of people still do that these days just because people have different ideas, So I know he definitely works with some other people as well, but we still are great friends, and hopefully he'll reach out to me as well for a few other things this season. I put him also in this really cool Sussnitz beanie and hat. So, oh my God, beanie and shirt, sweater vest, and it was posted on the New York Knicks page. It was like all about us, and like he was talking about his family and how he grew up, and that was also really cool that my outfit got posted on the Knicks page.
Yeah, that joint was popping. I saw that and I was like, yo, that's dope. So like you just mentioned it just now, how these athletes work with different stylists and they kind of can have their choice, right? So for you, what did it mean to you, the number one, for him to come to you for the Michael Rubin party? Like, yo, I want her to style this fit for this party, because I'm seeing the videos. Drake is there, Ella May, Jayson Tatum. Like everybody's there. He came to you for that outfit,
Really, I'm trying to freaking go next week to his freaking party. Yeah, it's definitely like a huge thing, and like if you live in New York, you like kind of know about it. I spend some of my summers in the Hamptons. So if you're in New York, you know about the Hamptons. It's a great place, great time, so much to do there. But yeah, I mean, obviously I was like, come run into Bloomingdale's, let's go, get you in and out. He's honestly was so easy to work with, you know, like whatever I picked out first, he like grabbed and left, you know. Yeah, it was definitely really cool. I'd say that was one of the first times and the first time my name got out. So was from Immanuel. Mm-hmm.
So when you work with an athlete, what are kind of like the 3 most important questions like you may ask yourself to build an outfit or to pick out a piece for an athlete?
100%. I'd say, well, the first things I usually try to get on a call with them, we'll talk about sizes, brands they've worn, what they're looking for. Price range is obviously super important because if you give me a price range of like $5,000, I'd say, you know, I can go out and get you a bunch of stuff. Sometimes people would be like 1,200, 1,000, and like I would have to go for like the really, really small brands and like t-shirts. A smaller brand I really like is MNML, which has like jeans that are super affordable and they fit amazing on taller guys. So it really just depends on what they're looking for. Really, some people want like streetwear, some people want vacation looks. Right now I'm doing a lot of vacation looks for guys who are going away to Italy or with their girls or whatever. Yeah, it really just depends. And then I kind of just try to get it done as soon as I can. So if they say like we start talking on a Monday and they're going away like in 2 weeks, I kind of just try to get it done with immediately, just because sometimes packages can get overlaid. And you know, also living in New York is amazing because I get to go to all the stores here. I have great connections with a lot of the sales guys at like Patreon and the New and Blue and Green and the Webster, especially working at Bergdorf. All my guys there, they always send me all the new drops at Saks, everything. So either I shop in person for them or I'm shopping online. What I like to do is I usually send a lot of stuff to my apartment and then I'll make like a huge box for them, ship it out through UPS, organize it all by fits, and good to go. Honestly, they always get, I guess the most thing they ask is they get scared about if something doesn't fit. Usually I'll provide a return label, ship it back to me. But to be honest, I really haven't had like any disappointments. Mostly everything fits, unless it would just be like the length and the inseam be the only issue. But I would say, you know, you can just wear it, like you can cuff it up or wear a boot with it or something to make it work. So.
Now, I think that's a good point. I wanted to ask you, like, obviously you're working with NFL players aren't that tall, but specifically NBA players, when you're working with those guys, I mean, these are tall guys, right? So are most of the fits like custom made? Do you have to get like custom clothing, or is it kind of like, can you find things that fits? You know, how does that normally work when you're dealing with like taller guys or who might have crazy long arms or crazy long limbs? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a little funky.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I have found, I guess, some brands that work well. Like I said, I'll sometimes ask like what brands they like to wear and what fits them the best. But to be honest, they don't. Sometimes to be honest, out of 0 out of 100, they never give me an answer. They're like, I don't know, like you find something for me. But I've honestly just learned really just being working with so many different guys, what works best. Obviously you could do custom made. I'd say custom made would be great for like suits and blazers and all that stuff. But for just everyday wear, I kind of just found what really works for all these guys. The same type of brands I usually would put on that if they're really, really super tall or have really, really long arms, or if, you know, it doesn't work, then we just find something else, you know, like I've had a client who said the jacket was like up to their, like almost their like elbow, you know, so we did like a long sleeve underneath it, something, and we just like kind of made it work, you know, so we just switched the outfit, just like a cool vest or something, switch it around if it looks silly, you know. Yeah.
That's dope. No, go ahead, Tank.
No, I just had like a couple like questions that all kind of aligned to that. Do you ever have like one at that moment where like you're talking to an athlete and he gives you a budget and you're like, well, this budget is huge, and can you like take me into that moment, like maybe what exactly like the product was, what the fit was, like, and then like is
like
it more
or like you're saying like a less expensive?
not like a more expensive fit? Like, can you kind of like remember, like you don't have to name drop, but like, can you just give us an idea of like what that experience was like? And do you kind of like find more joy when you have like a smaller budget to work with and you get more creative, or is it better with a bigger budget?
Okay, I'd say both. Obviously the bigger budget, I can put you in so much cooler stuff. But I'd say if you give me a big budget, I'll probably go to Bergdorf or Saks and I'll find like some cool leather jacket. I really loving Givenchy these days. Their pieces are really amazing. The new stuff that just came in, I just sent this really cool vest out with these cool cargo pants, which I loved. So photos will be coming soon. But I'd say if someone gives me like a bigger budget, I'm thinking of like someone who I worked with. Yeah, I mean like some of the guys I worked with, I really love this brand, Coot. And they have like really cool flare jeans and really cool jackets. So I did put that on, and those were that's the total will be about like 5,000 for that. They're pretty expensive. But just a pair this cool jacket and its pants, and obviously pair it up with some cool sneakers or dunks or boots. So
Yep.
Everyone's really different, you know. But I definitely obviously would prefer to put somebody on a more expensive item because you can make it a lot more cooler. So
my question, right? Like when you're looking at an athlete or just a client in general with your style, right? If somebody's saying, all right, JoJo, like, get me right. You know what I'm saying? How will you like, what does that process look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, because if they're not really into fashion, right? So they might not know what they like or what really might look good on them. How can you like look at somebody and be like, all right, I think this might be your swag. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so basically what I really do is if I'm not in a store pulling pieces, I'll make like a little Canva on like how outfits would go together, which I usually send all my clients. So when I charge my fee, I usually make them outfits and they'll say yes, no, yes, no, I like this, I like this. But I'll also just kind of go through their Instagram and see what they've worn, what brands they've also worn. A lot of people get a little like nervous to wear things, or they say like it's never anything I wear, like I would never do that, but then I put it on them and they're like, oh wow, like I really want more of that. That's probably one of the most like thing that also that makes me feel the best because I feel like accomplished being able to actually put like something on them that they've never worn before. But if they're more basic, like some people are just want t-shirts and pants. Some people would really go out there and wear like a cool vest and like cool pair of pants or shorts or a button down. Like I said, I love Bodie, and Bodie has amazing short sleeve button downs and cool shorts and a lot of matching sets, which I put on somebody before. So yeah, I mean, it really just depends, but I really like to help people branch out. That's like my job, branch out. I'll send photos of things and see if they like it. And so, yeah.
Got you.
When you spoke on, no, I just had a question because you spoke on like branching out. So when you talk about branching out, do you have like one athlete like that you see or like on Instagram or like you ever see them like just maybe come in the stores and you're like, wow, like I really want to work with this person. Like I really like the way they put their fists together. And I really think that if we came together, like we could really do something because that person like just always has it on.
I mean, like, do I have any athlete inspo, you mean?
I guess like athlete, yeah, I guess like athlete inspo.
I mean, obviously Shay dresses amazing. Nikki Law dresses amazing. Love his style. I obviously would love to work with more Knicks players because I'm here in New York. Hopefully maybe this year I can start, if I get in touch with some of them, it'll be amazing. Obviously, like there's so many people that dress amazing. Everyone kind of has their own different style. But let's see, I'm thinking not really anyone in particular, but it's kind of like if it's fate, it happens. It's really just about just kind of like reaching out and hopefully getting in touch and having referrals really help me. So
you
I'm willing to work with like anybody, but obviously there's so many people and athletes that I get inspo from that I love what they wear. And obviously Leaguefits was not a thing. Like it just started popping off like really so recently. Like obviously athletes going to the tunnel was like not as big as it is today. People want to look good. People want to dress well. So yeah. Just kind of be like consistent with your job. You can't, it's not just like, it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people reach out to me asking how I started, what can they do to get where I am? It's really just, I mean, it's freelance is difficult, like I'm doing my own job, like I'm on my own, like time on my own salary, like, so.
So Jojo, you mentioned kind of like the whole Leaguefits thing and how like players are putting it on walking through the tunnel, right? And I feel like I'm a avid Leaguefits follower. I be seeing the fits and stuff like that. And I feel like, in my opinion, right, there are two places where people really like put it on when they come in. One of them is the Garden when they're in New York. People put on their best fit when they're coming in New York. And then the other one is LA when you're in Staples Center or Crypto Arena, Crypto.com Arena now. People always put on their best fit when they get in that LA sun. You know what I'm saying? So for you, right, you're obviously in New York. You've worked with obviously some Knicks players. You work with guys on the Giants in New York. Do you feel like you would style a player on the Knicks differently than a player? You work with like Josh Okogie, who's on the Suns, or you work with like Monte Morris, who's on the Wizards. Like they're in like smaller market cities, right? So if you're putting together a fit for somebody who's playing in New York, are you going to add a little extra pizzazz to the fit, knowing that it's in the Garden, or like how does that work?
I mean, obviously being in New York is literally the best thing. Every single time I speak to a client or athlete, they're always just like, I'm playing in the Garden. Like I got to look good, like I'm in New York City. Like, obviously it really depends on what time of like if it's like really, really cold, sometimes you just got to put on like a really cool coat or a really cool jacket, which I love. I'd say like switching. I wouldn't say I would switch how I felt about putting an outfit on for somebody in a different city, really, because I really always want them to look good. And then, but obviously in New York, they do always sometimes ask me like, hey, like, is there anything really like cool you found, or I can look good for the tunnel here in New York, obviously. And like, I feel like also Miami too. People like to put on some cool fits in Miami. I'm from Florida. I'm from Miami. Yep. So obviously I grew up also going to Miami Heat games as well, but I'm a Knicks fan. But I mean, I'd say, for sure. I probably like, when I worked with Monte here, we did a really cool, we found a cool jacket, t-shirt, we found some Helmut Lang jeans and I remember I went to Flight Club for him and got him some sneakers when he was here. And then we did a fitting at later in the day. But I mean, it really just, a lot of people ask me for last minute things. Like when I spoke to Monte, it was like a 24-hour thing. It was like, I'm coming now. I need this in 2 hours. And then I play in 2 hours. Like it's actually not even 20. I think it was like 12 hours. I don't even think it was 24. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to go head up I went to Bergdorf and then we found a fit and then I brought it to the fitting and then in and out,
That's crazy. Wait,
very fast paced, this industry. People ask me for things a day before. And that's like one of the hardest parts about being in this industry. I got a request last week about an award show for the BET award show yesterday, and they needed something overnight to LA, and it's like, I'm like, sometimes, it's a lot of requests I get. I'd say one of the craziest things that happened, well, not crazy, but like I was working with a player and the brand canceled the item last minute. And I actually reached out to the company myself, hands-on, and they were able to gift the same pair of pants to my client and overnight it to them. And I was like, you are literally a lifesaver. Like, thank you so much. So that was like, and like my client obviously was like, holy shit, like, what do we do? And I'm like, the brand canceled it, but I reached out to the PR team and they were so nice and they now I work with them. So, you know.
Shout out to you for that. Wait, so I want to ask you real quick. What is like a normal how often do you normally plan out fits in advance when it's not like last minute stuff? If a player comes to you trying to execute a fit, like how what's like a normal time frame for you planning out fits for an athlete?
Right. I usually would say like a month or 2 months in advance. I like to plan out fits for I'd say last season with my NFL guys, I planned out like 6 every Sunday games, Saturday, Sunday games, whatever they played. I did in advance because so they can have it all ready. But also there's so many new stuff that come out like every day, you know. So if there's something I do like, I'll send it over to them, depending if they want it, or sometimes it really just depends. But I like to be prepared, especially since I'm gonna be having a lot of people this season in the NFL. I'm gonna want to start. I already told people that I want to start getting on like phone calls and prepping by like late July. Obviously the first games are the first week of September. So planning everything out. Sometimes brands I like are not even American brands, you know, so and they take a while to come in. They can take 14 days to like get delivered here. A lot of stuff's custom made that people like. It's really, and if they want like details involved and like I said, with the custom made with the inseams, and it's going to take a while. So I obviously like to prep, you know, so. Obviously, the best thing really, the most thing I prefer is really like being with the client and doing in-person shopping with them. That's like my favorite thing because you can see it on them. I can pull in the store. Like when I worked with, when Josh Okogie was here 2 weeks ago, he came right before Milan. We met up and we went to Patreon the New, we went to Kith, and I pulled a few things for him and in and out, you know, is ready to go. So that's my favorite thing to do really is meeting with the client because a lot of clients I haven't met before that I worked with, like a lot.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of virtual with a lot of people. So.
Do you find it like maybe for a little bit more pressure to do like an NFL athlete compared to like an NBA athlete just because like, you know, like they're only showing up once a week to go and put a fit on. So now it's like they have like one big runway event versus like an NBA player, he might have like 3 or 4 tonal fits in a given week.
Right. I'd say for a majority of the NBA guys I've worked with, I kind of like sent them stuff not knowing when they're going to wear it. So like when I did help Josh, when I helped him in the beginning of the season, I helped him. He gave me a price point and I just kind of found like 6, 7, 8 different pieces, fits that I put together for him and he wore it throughout the season. I didn't know when he was going to wear it type stuff. Also when I worked with when I worked with Immanuel Amante as well, they also just wore things throughout the season, you know, not really knowing when they were going to wear it. But this year, hopefully I can start working one-on-one with more NBA players. So we do have plans fitted out for every single game. For NFL, it's a little bit different. I'd say I have the outfits planned out for every game because I just think that because I have more consecutive NFL clients. That's it.
Right.
So.
Have you ever just like sent somebody like maybe you would just want like a specific piece and not an outfit? Have you ever just sent them a piece and then like you see them style the piece and you're like, bro, what are you doing? Like, do you have those moments or does that not happen?
I don't know. That really hasn't happened to me before. No. They always usually text me pictures before the games and being like, hey, is this good type thing, I'd say. And obviously, they always usually text me before. Like I said, like I feel like I'm their like assistant half the times because they're always texting me being like, hey, is this good? Like, what do I wear with this? Like they'll show me their whole closet and be like, what shoes should I wear with this? Like, is this jacket good? Like, that's really, I say that's like the most obviously most fun too. And I'm really, really excited for NFL season to come because I miss it. I literally miss being like busy and working with my guys. And like I said, I have a lot of new clients lined up where I'm really excited to work with and excited to show everybody the outfits. So I'll be busy and I'm really excited. So yeah.
So it'd be like a first day of school vibe. Like they be having like all the clothes laid on the bed, snapping pictures, sending them to you.
Yeah, literally. I'm really excited. I'm also going to be working with a few different brands. And the thing about New York is there's not a lot of showrooms here. So a lot of the showrooms are in LA. So I've video chat with some of the LA brands and they show me like the showrooms and stuff. So that's also a really, going back, I'd say, rewinding a little bit, a cool thing to work with a stylist. One of the best things that you really have advantage of is working with showrooms and being able to borrow the clothes, you know? So you think that a lot of these, not calling anybody out or anything, but a lot of these brands will let you borrow the clothes if you get a picture, a tunnel fit and a Ryle fit in the clothes. And you don't have to pay for it. So you could borrow like an expensive piece and just wear it for the fit and then give it back, you know? And a lot of people don't realize that you can do that. And that's an advantage working with the stylist because I have access to a lot of the showrooms and the brands. And it's all on me, you know, like they reach out to me, I reach out to them. I reach out to a lot of PR, and they send me stuff, you know, and they'll be like, hey, have your client wear this, ship it back to me. Here's the label. Unless they want to buy it, they could buy it if they want. Right. But if I put on like a Marnie piece on somebody and they literally just borrowed it and sent it right back. Like,
so then how does that work? Do you get paid for that stuff? Would the brand pay you commission or is it just kind of like, okay.
It's really all just part of my my fee.
Okay.
Just working with me is just to have advantages of also getting gifted free ship too all the time.
Okay. So that's a good question. I actually want to ask you that. How does that work as far as like a compensation for a stylist? How do you make your money, right? If a player comes to you, is it like, okay, if you give me this piece, do you get commission for the sale of if I get you if you get a player like a bag or something, are you getting commission for the sale of it? Is it like, all right, if I say, Jojo, I want you to be my stylist, then am I paying you, like a salary? Like, how does that?
Yeah, I do. So right now, usually what I try to do is retainer fees. I usually try to make a contract for everybody that I'm working with. If not, if someone really asks me for like like one or two pieces, I'll just charge a percentage wise of what the item was. Mm-hmm. But for my full consistent clients, contract, and I do usually just a fee by the outfits, what I make them. Commission, I get commission at Bloomingdale's where I work. All the clothes there, I get commission from, a commission from Louis Vuitton, Prada, Bottega, Chanel, Elvis, everything, every brand we have there, I get commission from. I do try to sell a lot of Bloomingdale's clothing. Some of the sizes could be a little bit hard there. But yeah, it really is all part of my fee of what I charge, kind of just goes into everything. And say if somebody wants like 5 outfits compared to 10 outfits, it's gonna be a little bit different. If somebody wants just personal shopping, it's gonna be a little bit different. I'll sometimes charge by the hour. When people are here in the city and they want to do personal shopping with me, I'll charge by the hour and we'll go to Soho, Upper East Side, Fifth Ave. So it's really, I'm trying to make it all the same for people, but when people sometimes ask me for a small thing versus a big thing, kind of have to change the prices a little bit, but
right. Now I want to ask one quick follow-up before I toss this to Tank. I feel like when that comment you made before just made me think about a situation that was in the news a lot recently. When you mentioned like how you can borrow clothes with the whole showroom situation. So I gotta ask you. I take laughing. I know
what you're gonna say.
So the whole Jared Vanderbilt situation that went viral a couple of months. I think it was like last month when people allegedly this brand said, "Oh, you bought this fit and then returned it." I had a whole debate about this in my group chat about who was in the right and who was in the wrong. Because in my opinion, I'm like, bro, Vando is one of the best dressed players in the league, bro. Like if you see him wearing your stuff as a brand, that's more publicity for you. Like, oh, hey, Vando in X next piece, right? As opposed to you outing him and saying, "Oh, he did this and then tried to return it." Da da da. Now you look crazy, and I don't know if that's like bad business. So I just want to get your opinion.
No, I mean, it's different. It's different. Okay. Returned it at a department store.
So give us the detail because I might be missing some of the details. So give me I would say.
So when I said borrow, I work with showrooms.
Okay.
So it's going right back. It's not going back on a rack to sell. It's going back to a showroom where other people, celebrities, athletes are borrowing the same things as well. I mean, people do the returning thing all the time. It's girls do it, guys. I mean, it's known. I know people that do it. I'm not giving any hate at all because I know a lot of people that still do it. Yeah, I mean,
like, do you feel like that's like it's normal? Like as far as the fact that you think people should
not
and stuff?
no, it's not normal, but people do it.
Okay.
You know, like obviously I know he has like obviously has a lot of money and it probably didn't need to be returned, but if that's what he did, then that's what he did, you know.
Okay.
I don't know the background situation. Maybe he didn't like it anymore. I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the outfit anymore. Maybe he think he was never gonna wear it again. I don't know. I mean, people do it a lot. You would think they don't, but they do.
Do you feel like it should be frowned upon, or it's kind of just it's part of the game? Like,
no, I mean, like since I work in sales, so right. I see people coming in and returning stuff all the time. I don't know if they wore it or not. I don't know. Right. I did have a situation when I worked at Bergdorf, where a lady I worked with wore this really expensive Alexander Wang dress to a party, posted in it, returned it. And since Bergdorf is like super, super strict, they like basically like not banned her, but like they were like, you can't shop here with us anymore. Like they found out, like, and like, but that was with like, they found out and they dealt with it through like the security there. Like they're so strict. Bergdorf is like actually the most like insane. They're so strict. They're like, they know everything. You wear something on it, they're like, you're taking it back, you know? So yeah, so I actually did deal with a situation working with somebody there who did return a dress, but she posted about it and she like was at a party with her friends and, you know, like you don't do that. I'm sure Vandal like didn't realize like, I don't know if he posted the picture himself, obviously.
He didn't even post it. I think somebody posted like took a picture.
Yeah, somebody probably exactly. So like I get it, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it happens. I'm sure he learned from his mistakes. He won't do it again.
That's crazy. So, because you're one of the first stylists that we've had on, can you just kind of give us sort of like a snapshot of what the industry looks like from like a diversity piece? Like, is it more people that you feel like look like you? Do you feel like it's a very diverse space? And like, does that also sometimes interfere with athletes? Do like sometimes athletes have like sort of frictions putting on certain brands, or like do they have brands like they're like, whoa, like want to stay away from them? Like, how exactly does that look like as well?
I'd say some people, like I had a client which I was like, I got branded Hellstar and he was like, I'm not wearing a Hellstar because it says hell on it, you know, but a lot of people do like that brand. Everyone's really different. I'd say some people don't really like, are not like messing with like a Mary Jeans these days and, you know, like stuff like that. I mostly don't even like put clients on that stuff anymore. I mostly focus on like the newer brands, like small brands. I follow like over 1,000 brands on Instagram. So I honestly, once I start to get busy again, I'm really just going to go through all the people I follow and check out all their websites really. And I'll even like reach out to them and be like, hey, like I'm a stylist and I would like to put your brand on some of my clients. And they'll be like, hey, like here's either a like code, a 20% off code, or hey, I'll give you this if you get a picture of this and stuff. I'd say like being in the fashion industry, there's a lot of people who do the same thing as you, like a lot. It's competitive, but you kind of just have to stand your ground. I even still would love to even shadow like some amazing stylists these days. Like, Ashley North, amazing. London, she's amazing. I even reached out to her and being like, hey, like would love to assist you one day just to see what other people do. Because I personally, I started this by myself. Like I didn't really have experience and really, I've never worked with an athlete before. Like I've never done really men's fashion. I kind of just like, I really just became like, when I worked at Bergdorf, I would really just go to the men's store and just become so like, I would like love looking at the clothes and love seeing the sales guys, style people. I've seen so many different athletes walk in there and I even would go up to them being like, hey, like, do you mind if I pick out some stuff for you? Like, I'm just learning, you know, and I still am learning every day. So, I mean, I'm not like crazy. Like, I know a lot of people are like also charge like crazy expensive. I'd say a lot of people give me feedback saying you're not as expensive, and I'm going to refer you to people because you know what you're doing and you're the least expensive person I've ever worked with. Just because I'm still starting from the bottom, you know, like obviously I'll upcharge my prices eventually, but you got to just I kind of start off with a lower price. So the client will respect me. B, so they still want to work with me. C, so they can refer me, and they'll kind of just see what I have to offer, you know. Because sometimes some people will be like, I don't know what you do. Like, how do you know what you can put on a fit for me? You know, I may not even like it, you know. And some people also be like, can you show me options before I pay you? And I'm like, well, it takes me time out of my day to shop for you, to look around for you. So it's like I have to charge, you know. The most question I get through Instagram is, hey, what do you have on you? That's the most popular question I get. People think I do the hotel, what's it called? When they go to a hotel and they bring on the clothes, they lay it out for you type stuff. Like, I don't know the name, but I know a few people that do it. They bring like a bunch of clothes and all the players can shop. So I don't do that. Right. I personally shop individual for each person, so I don't have pieces on me. Right. So that's why some people get a little confused. If they're like in New York or in Miami where I am, they'll be like, hey, like, can you bring over some stuff? And I'm like, I don't have, you know, I shop for you individually. If you want, this is my charge. This is what I can do for you. I can go out right now. I'm living in New York City. I have anything at my footstep, you know. Right. And it's very lucky also working as a stylist in New York, because I also have so many connections here of working with all the sales guys and the brands. So
I think Tank brings up a good point, and I want to ask you a kind of follow-up question. I think you also just mentioned a little bit about it now in your answer, so I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into it. You mentioned how obviously being a woman in the styling industry, right? And you started off kind of, you know, styling more so women's clients, and now you work with NBA and NFL clients who are obviously men, right? So what has that experience been like, being a woman styling men, right, in a male-dominated industry, right? I know, for example, I mean, there are a lot of male stylists, right, that are styling NBA. I know Kyle Kuzma stylist. I think his name is Terreno. He's a man. Like, it's a bunch of like folks who have, you know, male stylists, right? So what has your experience been like as a woman trying to like break into the industry, as a woman trying to style men? Like, do you ever get any pushback? Like, you know, what is that experience like for you?
I mean, it could be difficult sometimes, obviously, being a woman in this industry. I don't know many other girls my age that do this. I mean, I'm 26, still kind of young, doing this on my own. I mean, you just have to be like professional. A lot of people will obviously hit me up in the DMs, you know, but you just have to really be professional in this industry, because no one's going to respect you if you're not, you know. You just have to just handle everything business, you know. Right. So, you know, if they want to work with you, they want to work with you. If they don't, then see ya, you know. That's it.
So I gotta ask you this, because I feel like I was listening to a podcast with Taylor Rooks. Shout out to The Pivot. They had her on, and they were talking about how Taylor Rooks has a bunch of kind of, you know, it's a struggle, quite frankly, because she's a media personality working in a, you know, male-dominated sport, and a lot of men will like hit on her or the comment on her clothes and like what she's wearing and her body and stuff, and like it's super tough, right? And I feel like,
no, I definitely do get the same.
Yeah, and if we call a spade, right? The NBA and the NFL is a treacherous job where folks is always trying to, you know, talk to girls and this and that.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you deal with guys who might try to blur those lines or might try to, like, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's tough. Like, you're trying to be professional, working a business perspective. And they might be on some whole.
No, for sure. I mean, you should just, for sure. I would just say thank you if you're not interested. A lot of people will obviously want something else, you know what I mean? But if you don't, if that's how you're going to treat me, then we don't need to work together, you know? And like I said, that's why I always bring an assistant with me, and I'm doing in-person stuff, because you know, these athletes get a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, obviously just going back to just being professional.
Okay, just to kind of switch speeds a little bit, and you kind of hinted at it earlier. You said you had a couple like brands that you were really looking forward to working with this year that you haven't worked with. If you can we get like a little, maybe like a sneak peek of like some brands you're going to be working with this year that you're excited to work with, or just some brands that maybe like the everyday person can like sort of tap into and really elevate their closet with coming up in this year?
Some of the brands, I like have everything in my email of like what we're like trying to work on, but a lot of it also comes from showrooms. I love this brand, MDV Manor Devore. It's like they have, it's kind of like a copy of the Issey Miyake pleated pants and the pleated shirts. A lot of people love the Issey, but it's a little expensive. So that's kind of like a dupe for them. More other brands, I'd say. I mean, it's, I'm like thinking, it's a lot of like smaller brands that kind of like, just like basic people in New York that write me. I love Who Decides War. I think that's their pants are really, really awesome. I love Helmut Lang, I think, and I also love what is that? I love Vergoens. So Vergoens is amazing. I love all their shoes and their long pants are like unreal. I also love Vetements. I think that their pants fit really well on taller guys since they're really, really baggy and they have a long inseam. For brands that I'll be working with, it's really just from the showrooms. Once again, it's like gonna be like the borrowing thing, you know, which is like a plus for guys because who wants to pay for an item when you can just borrow it through a stylist? Yeah.
So, we got to put you on the spot. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be the What's in Your Bag podcast if we didn't put you on the spot. Now, working with a bunch of NBA clients, a bunch of NFL clients. Let's settle this debate. You know what I'm saying? Who got the better swag? Who got the better drip? NFL players or NBA players? Who swag would you say is better?
Let's see. I mean, I think they're both good, but it's honestly like, I'd say like NFL has been really killing it. Like obviously Diggs, like he's on the Bills too, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I work
Maryland. That's a Maryland boy right there. Stephon Diggs, yes, sir.
Yes, literally. Everybody, I say like you put more effort into the NFL because they're the one time a week show stuff are coming out, and like they love their photos so much. Like these guys, like it's just so funny. Like they want to get like videos and so all the photos like of their outfits. Like they'll have even like side photographers like follow them for the day and do that stuff. Honestly, I think they're both good, but I really think that NFL guys have really been killing it like this past season.
You hurt my heart. You hurt my heart right now. I was hoping you would say basketball players got better swag. You hurt my heart right now.
I mean, they're both. I think. I mean, when I see Leaguefits every day, I'm like, oh my god, like six. They're both amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have like a say for like. It really depends on like. Obviously, like the playoff fits were amazing for every guy. I love like obviously. I love layering. So extra pieces is always like really cool when you like have like you do like a tank top and a t-shirt, a jacket, a vest, like kind of like I think layering is like the most coolest thing because you can see all the details and like you can do a cool bell or some jewelry. Obviously I love jewelry. I wear jewelry so much. Like putting small brand jewelry on my clients is like the best. I obviously add a pair of sunglasses, a hat, a beanie. It's really just all about the accessories and like. I think that's like the coolest you can really do is put on someone. But yeah, I don't really have a say. And they're both really. I haven't seen NFL in like a while now, so I really need some NBA stuff. But all their outfits are amazing, especially all the outfits in Paris right now from the Milan Fashion Week. So I was able to help Miles Turner's sister. Maya. I also work with Miles as well sometimes, but I got in. They had a picture on Vogue, which is like amazing. So that was really cool.
Yes, I saw that picture. So wait, let's talk about that because that was a crazy flick. What was that moment like for you? Like seeing some of your work in Vogue, and then can you talk through the process of like the actual fit that you put together for her? Like,
So that was a helmet laying set she did. I didn't know she was gonna wear that to the show. We did like so many different outfits together. We did like over like 40 pieces she brought with her. We did so many different looks. It was kind of like everyday things in it. We did like dresses and jeans, and there's so many more photos that I need to post that she sent me that are like amazing of her and her brother. They're both such nice people. Miles, shout out Miles. He's such a nice guy, and shout out to his sister Maya. Both amazing. But yeah, that was like really, really cool. I didn't realize that it was they got a photo in Vogue, and it like, you sing the song, bitch, don't tell me I'm a model if you haven't been in Vogue. Holy shit, like that's so freaking cool. I'm definitely gonna post that today of how I wish obviously like my name was like in there, but it was a bunch of people in the photos. So yeah, that was awesome. That was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen probably in my fashion industry. So
that's dope. No,
That's so tough.
That's OC. You heard her, man. Don't tell me you ain't model if you ain't been in Vogue, man. Don't tell me if you styling if your work ain't been in Vogue, man. Period.
Hopefully more to come.
For sure. I wanted to actually ask you about that. I'm glad you kind of I feel like, we're in sync right now because a lot of things you're saying, I was getting ready to ask you. I think you mentioned you were working with Josh Okogie as well before he went to Milan. And you mentioned you're working with Maya, preparing 40 fits for Fashion Week. I feel like
it wasn't really like she kind of just like wasn't like she's also there for a month. She's there for a month. We did like everything. We did like Amalfi Coast stuff. We did Capri stuff. We did bathing suits and cover-ups. And she's super, super tall. She's like over 6'5". So obviously.
I did
not know that.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously the picture you had with Maya and the fit that obviously ended up being in Vogue. You also mentioned helping out Josh Okogie get a couple fits for Fashion Week. Obviously, when you're preparing for Milan Fashion Week or Paris Fashion Week, I feel like it's a little more oomph in trying to put together fits. Obviously a lot more cameras, a lot more stuff is going on out there. So talk about the process that went into kind of picking out those outfits for her that, obviously you mentioned you did about 40 looks. So how did you kind of go about putting those together?
Yeah, so I worked with Maya, like I'd say a month before. A dear friend got me in touch with her, and we kind of just like, what I did is where I work at Bloomingdale's, I basically just pulled her like, I'd say like 12 to 15 different looks, and I sent her a video on everything, on how to wear it, what it's gonna go with, how it's gonna look, and it was like a 10-minute long video, and the voice note she sent me back and like the text were literally like made me cry. She was like, I've never had anybody do this for me. Like, this was amazing. Like, no one can ever fit. I can never find an outfit or jeans or shoes that really fits my body because she's 6'5". So like that was really cool. And she wore like so many of the outfits. I'm really excited, obviously, to see so much more she's been wearing. But she was accompanying her brother in the Milan Fashion Week, Miles. And they literally look amazing. I mean, being in Vogue was one of like the coolest things. So, and also with Josh, like when he was here for like a day before he went to Milan, and we kind of just walked around. We went to Patron of the New, we went to Kith, and we just did a few little things together, nothing big. He really prepped before. But obviously I love seeing all the pictures, and yeah, I mean, now Maya just told me she's going to be working with me only in the future now, because she said she hasn't found anybody that actually understands how to do it as only besides me. So that was really cool. I mean, obviously, like I'm really excited for more to come. I also helped like 2 or 3 other people that went to Milan. My friend Vic, I helped, and I also helped my friend Josh, who's a photographer that has been doing the entire photographing Miles and Miles' trip this entire time. So I did help him as well style for the trip as well. So it was really cool. It's really just about connections and like people referring you. Like if you just have one person who knows somebody and you're all in the same area, like, just all come along type stuff. So
Facts.
That's so cool.
No, that's crazy. I've been tuned into Fashion Week this whole week. I've been just scrolling, looking at all the fits. I'm seeing Kuz and Winnie Harlow out there, Carl Towns and Jordan Woods, Stephon Diggs.
It's so cool.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
They are so cool. Yep.
Literally, what are your overall thoughts on just all the athletes? Because I feel like it's a sign of the times. Man, there's so many NBA players, NFL players that are stepping into the fashion space now. You see so many people who are attending shows, sitting in front row. Like, how do you feel about just the movement of just athletes stepping into the fashion space now?
Yeah, I was actually talking about this the other day. How it's like so crazy how like now athletes are literally like front row at every single fashion show, and like they're basketball players, it's like, what are they doing? But it's honestly real. I just think it's all through now just what they wear from Leaguefits and Blitzfits, and that's really what's got them into all this styling. They also obviously see all their teammates wearing cool brands, being like, hey, what's that? Because I also get like people also ask me like, hey, what's this guy wearing? Like, I want that. I want those pair of pants. Like, so I think it's awesome. Obviously, like New York Fashion Week here is in September, and I'm gonna hopefully have some of my clients sit front row as well. It's like also working. It's another advantage working with stylists, like where you can. I have access to working with the PR teams here in New York, and I can have my clients sit front row as well. So that'll be cool for them. So I think it's awesome. I think having a love for fashion is really cool. I'd say a lot of my friends are not into the fashion industry at all, and when they see me, they're like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "This is just who I am." Like, some of my friends will be like, "Obviously, of course, you're wearing like something exotic." I'm like, "That's just me," like, and also a lot of my friends do come to me to buy stuff. Like they're always shopping in my closet. All my friends, even my clients, like one of my clients, like even borrowed like one of my really great my friend Tariq Black. He's one of my really great clients and also a friend of mine. He borrowed like one of my Balenciaga and like gallery department oversized jacket I had one time for literally a fit for a rival fit. And I was like, take it, like tag me. And I literally I got it back like 2 days after. So I was like, I don't care, you can take it. My stuff is your stuff. So
I'm glad we have you here, because I always wanted to ask, what is the actual process in getting invited to these shows for athletes? Like, how do these athletes get invited to these shows in Milan? And like, you know what I'm saying? So you mentioned like if you might have clients that might be able to attend shows in New York, right? So what does that process look like if I was your client, Jojo, and I'm like, hey, Jojo, like I want a show in New York, right? How does that actually happen?
It's really working with PR, like the PR of the brands, really. But also if say you worn a piece that the brand, a piece from the brand, sometimes the brand will just reach out to you being like, hey, I love how you wore that shirt, whatever jacket, like you should come to the show type stuff, like bring a guest. But really it's all throughout the PR teams. It's really just emailing the different brands and people who work on the team to really just get invited. Obviously New York Fashion Week is like really, really big here. Everybody wants to go. There's so many different parties you get invited to and events, and hopefully I can go to a bunch of them here as well in September. So I'm excited for that. That'll be cool. Especially I just think that since I've been working with some brands here, even brands reached out to me to come to the Paris Fashion Week. And like I couldn't go because I'm here. But it's really just working. If you've worn the brands, they kind of will say like, hey, like I like how you worn it, you should come here, stuff like that. But obviously, like working with somebody, obviously as me being in fashion, I just know a lot of different people here in New York that would probably want me to attend with somebody. So yeah.
Do you ever kind of like see yourself transitioning from like stylist into actually like maybe get into more of like the creative side of like actually maybe like working with a brand or working with a designer, actually helping to create a piece that you love putting on other people?
I always said that like in the past like few months that I wanted to start a brand. One of my clients actually reach out to me asking if we should start a brand together. Tariq, he said we should start like something with like denim and leather and diamond and all that stuff. Obviously it'd be really cool. I don't know if I have so much time for that now, but definitely in the future. Even my brother was like, let's open a clothing store. Like my brother he's a fashion expert. He got me on so many cool brands. He's really, I feel like he's like probably like the main number one reason I fell in love with like men's clothing. He really dresses like an NBA player. It's the funniest thing. He puts me on a lot of that cool stuff. So I feel like if I did start a brand or did work on the creative side, like me and my brother would like kind of like collab and do something together, especially if I move back to Florida with one day. So that'd be cool.
That's lit. That's lit. So I wanted to ask, like, as far as the styling goes or inspiration, like, do you have any people who you kind of look up to? Maybe if it's a person where it comes like, oh, I like this person's style, or you mentioned a couple of stylists earlier, but there are any people who you kind of, I guess, for you personally, right, look up to or draw inspiration from, kind of, I don't know, just kind of like follow as far as like in this industry or in this space? Who are some of those people that you kind of look to in that light?
Yeah, it's like a lot of, I follow a lot of people. I follow a lot of brands. I wouldn't say there's like not really like one person I really look up to. It's kind of, I'm also became very close with Vic Michael. He styles like Debo and Devin White. And he's one of the first people that actually kind of reached out to me being like, I think you know what you're doing. Like you're going to have success one day. I actually, when I worked at Bergdorf, I helped him with an outfit for Devin White. And this was like 2 years ago. So that was like also one of my first times, like someone reached out to me being like, hey, like, I want you to help me. He's amazing. He's great. He's definitely kind of helped me grow and someone that would be like a mentor for me. He's styled Jayson Tatum. He's LA based. But really for like people, I'd say like not really one specific person, and like it's really just a lot of just random people, I'd say. Not really one specific person. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So last question I got for you before we get into kind of some quick hitters, and then we'll wrap it up. For somebody who's following behind you, right, and who wants to get into the styling industry, or there's a girl out there who, wants to work in men's sports, but might be a little bit hesitant because, she's like, I'm a woman. I don't know how they're going to receive me, right? Like, I don't know how to get my foot in the door. How do I get started? What advice would you give to somebody else who's, trying to pursue this business? What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, I also got like I've been in touch with a lot of younger girls that are my age or in 20s who say they want to start this as well, and they're having trouble because a lot of the athletes are sliding in a different way. I actually just spoke to this girl yesterday about it. Basically, it's really competitive. You just kind of have to be consistent. Don't give up. Once you can, I'd say the hardest thing is getting responses back from guys. And you know what? It doesn't really, even if they're not an athlete, start off with anybody. They don't have to be an athlete. Some of these girls are like, hey, I just really want to work with an NBA player. And I'm like, well, why don't you work with like, find someone on the streets. There's so many people in New York. There's so many people everywhere. Start DMing people, reach out to brands, be like, you can even do like, reach out to a brand and be like, hey, like, I would love to be able to style at your shoot. Like I've been to a brand here, and I was able to be the main stylist and work on their shoot with their like models. And it's really just like starting from the bottom. Keep doing what you're doing. It's really important to learn about sizing and brands, and it's really just being consistent. Just don't give up. Honestly, it took me a while to find one. It took me like 6 to 8 months to get one person to actually be like, hey, like, let's do it. Let's start. Like it took me so long to like, for an athlete, I'm saying, but it really doesn't matter. Like if you know what you're doing and you have an eye for fashion, then you kind of just can get success from there. Even though there's so many people that do the same thing as you, just be yourself. You know, a lot of people are like, well, what are you compared to? And I'm like, well, I'm just me. You know, like, do what you got to do. If you want to work with me, that's it. You know, beggars can't be freaking choosers. Like you gotta, if you get somebody that wants to work with you, do it. You know, even if it's like a nobody, who cares? You know, like I have people on the street stopping me. Like yesterday it's a crazy, yesterday was the gay pride parade and I had, someone was like out selling like drinks and he literally stopped me and was like, hey, like, what do you, he's like, I like your outfit. Like, what's your Instagram? And he ended up being like an artist agent. And he was like, oh, like maybe one of my clients will want you to style him. It's like, it's so weird. But yeah, I definitely do get like stopped a lot of my outfits and like people always ask for my Instagram while like I'm walking the streets in Soho. It's actually pretty funny.
Thanks. That's dope. I think that's great advice and great perspective. You know, just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Is anybody else out there that's trying to follow in the footsteps? Just start with being authentic and don't quit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might got to deal with getting left on scene. You might got to throw a couple DMs at, you know, whatever case may be, but just don't quit, you know, and keep going. So got a few quick hitters. Got a few quick hitters for you, and then we're gonna wrap it up, man. So first quick hitter I got for you. What would you say is fashion advice or styling tip for somebody trying to ball on a budget, right? We're not NBA player. We're somebody who's trying to get our swag up. We don't got thousands of dollars, right? Give me a styling tip that can help them get their swag up.
Yeah, I mean, there's Topshop, Fashion Nova, Boohoo. People sometimes, there actually has some cool stuff on there, to be honest. ASOS, smaller brand t-shirts. You can even find like sometimes like even Rude. Like Rude's like, I like Rude t-shirts. Rude t-shirts are like $250. They're like not as pricey as people would think. You can even just add like a cool denim jacket, a leather jacket, a pullover, a cardigan. I love a freaking cardigan. You can find cardigans anywhere. It doesn't have to be the most expensive Marni cardigan. Like I was saying, MN, ML, like they have like those dupe cardigans you can literally just pull over. Love a flare jean, love a cargo pant, dress it up with some accessories. I'm sure everybody has chains and bracelets, some cool rings. And I'm sure you guys have like a pair of junks at home you can pair it with, you know. Also, there's like so many different like inspo, like now TikTok, like people are posting like so many inspo videos for like low budget stuff, which I follow, which is like really cool. But yeah, I might definitely have people asking me for like under like $1,000 sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god! But we did it, and they look great. So
bet, love it.
Wait, does JoJo show love to the dupes?
The what?
Do you show love to dupes? Like, are you cool with people rocking dupes? Because I know a lot of people are like, they can't get behind the idea of people like wearing dupes.
Oh yeah, I mean they're fine. Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, I was just very curious. I know a lot of people are like, "What do you mean, like you wear dupes?"
Give me your dream client. If there's they could be an athlete, it could be just a celebrity. Like, who is a dream client that you would want to work with in your future?
Dream client. Oh wow, that's a hard question. There's so many. I think Jalen Williams has amazing style. I think he's so cool. I'd love to work with him. See, I really just want to start like getting on some people that don't really know what they're doing. When I see like their pictures and they literally look like crazy, like I'm like, can I just please help you? Like like sometimes they'll even be like, I won't even charge you. Like I just want like look good for yourself. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm like trying to get on top of my head of names. I think T. Higgins is like amazing with he looks so cool. I love his style. I'm like blanking on names, but like there's so many people that like, obviously like Shay, amazing. I don't think it's a stylist. I love the whole baggy look. I wear a lot of baggy stuff, so I love a baggy jeans and denim and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Dope. Give us your biggest fashion ick.
Oh my God. Ick. Oh my God. I feel it's like ick if it was I was like dating a guy. Ick is like the same thing as like if a guy would wear that. Just like collar shirts, like Patagonia, Vineyard Vine. Like I hate the whole like golf look type. Like this. Definitely. I mean, I really wasn't into like vests, like sweater vests, but sometimes people could rock it. I'd say like more of an egg. Oh my God, I'm putting me on the spot here. I'm like trying to think. Maybe just like sometimes adding like too much color could be like too much. You know, some people like I like more neutrals. I like the blacks. I mean, obviously adding a few colors, but sometimes people go like a little too crazy with the colors, and mixing, matching way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair list. The last question we got for you. This has been a great discussion. But we always end them off like this. Who is one person that we should have on the What's in Your Bag podcast? And whoever you say, you gotta give us the assist, and help us get them on. This could be a stylist. This could be a designer, photographer. Somebody who's doing dope work. It just could be somebody who you think has a dope story that people could benefit from.
For sure. I mean, let's see, a dope story. Would you know? I mean, you could probably get Josh on it. He would do it. Josh Okogie. He would definitely come on your podcast. Cool. He's a great friend of mine. He has amazing style. He dresses himself all the time. He definitely knows what he's doing. I think he should be in Arizona right now, but I can definitely text him and ask him to come on the pod. I think he would love it. I'm sure some of his friends have been on your podcast as well.
No, fact. That'll be
he's cool. He's an eye for fashion. He's been on like a few different teams now. But yeah, I can definitely assist for that one if you need help.
Say no more. We'll definitely be in contact after this episode. Mm-hmm. Man, it's crazy. He's actually best friends with one of
for sure.
Because they went to Georgia Tech in Atlanta together. So we actually might be able to swing that one. That might be a dope conversation to have. But definitely just want to say thank you to you for coming on. This has been so much fun just talking fashion.
Thank you so much for having me. So much fun.
No doubt. We definitely got to do this again.
So much fun. Thank you so much.
No doubt. We definitely got to do this again in a couple of years, you know what I'm saying, and circle back and to see how much you've grown and how far you've come. But like I said, I think I message you, man. I love your style. I love the work that you've been able to do with the players that you've already worked with. And I know that you have so much more to be done. I'm looking forward to seeing you this season. The NFL fits, you know what I'm saying? Me and Tank going to be tapped in. Obviously, comes back around. We're going to be tuned in.
Yeah, follow.
Definitely got to show you some
so much. I'm going to be posting a lot of new content soon, hopefully, when I get some more pictures, especially from Milan, from my guys and girls out there. I'll be posting.
Say no more.
Wait,
so check it out.
Jojo, wait.
Follow
Jojo, please, I'm begging you. Can we please get more like of your content on TikTok? Because like she has great TikTok content, but like it don't be all up there.
Oh, I know. I have to post more. Maybe I'll do some video stuff today when I'm about to leave. So go to work. So maybe I'll post some more stuff. But I do. People always say, please post more TikTok stuff. That's how I got so many messages. Like people are like, I found you on TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God, like I literally don't post anything. But yes, I will. Will be my goal for 2023 is more TikToks.
The streets of Soho, we're looking for you. We need it.
I know. I'm here. I'm freaking here.
Say no more.
Yes.
Alrighty, guys. This has been another episode of the What's in Your Bag podcast presented by Bet Online. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you guys are liking this podcast, subscribing to this podcast, giving us a 5-star rating. It goes a long, long way. It's going to be my guy Pull Up Tay on the outro. Make sure you guys are streaming his music. Until next time, folks. Peace.
Bye. See ya.
Suave. I've been in my bag for a while, I'm invincible. Story of a young boss, grinding shit get critical. Calling on my bros one time, cause you special. I had some hoop dreams of right rounds for my mental. Every target that I shoot is on point like a pencil. Different route, change relationships, I'm so sorry. Came up from the trenches and I made it, I say hardly. Now